Basically, in case people don't know about this, The Hill fired me as a weekly contributor. I'd been a weekly contributor for 3 years, and then I was also a guest host. I wrote and recorded a monologue about Israel being an apartheid state and how Rashida Tlaib was being unfairly attacked for saying that. I wrote it, I recorded it, and they refused to air it. And I had some push, back and forth with them, very respectful. I was trying to reach a compromise. The producers were very nice. They were trying to do the right thing, which was actually release the monologue. And then got a call from the editor-in-chief of The Hill who told me they weren't running it. So then I asked if I could talk about it anyway on my segment. And that's when I got an email. Dear Katie, we won't be needing you to come in tomorrow morning. Please give us any unpaid invoices and best of luck. So that was how they handled that. Anyway, but Branko, what did you find out when you looked into this and you wrote an article about it at Jacobin?
So I looked at the change of ownership of The Hill, which in 2021 was sold to Nexstar, which is this massive media conglomerate. I think now it's actually the largest owner of local broadcast stations in the US. So people usually think of like Sinclair Broadcasting Group, that right-wing media aspiring monopoly that tends to kind of give scripts to its local news that kind of have this right-leaning slant to them. In this case, Nexstar is actually bigger than Sinclair, and I think has aims to be even bigger than it already is. They bought it in 2021. Then, shortly before this whole controversy in September, you had an investment firm that was based in Tel Aviv in Israel buy 6,000 shares of Nexstar. I think it cost about $1.1 million, I think, something along those lines, which, that may not have a bearing on what happened. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But before then, another curious fact that may or may not have to do with what happened to you, Katie, is that that Nexstar hired as the deputy managing editor of News Nation, which is its cable news station that the company owns. They hired this guy, Jake Novak, who's a longtime journalist, worked for a bunch of different places, also happens to have worked for the Israeli consulate in New York. He worked in the kind of media arm. I'm not sure exactly what he did, but I think we can probably take a guess by some of his other activities. For instance, just shortly actually before he was hired, 6 days before, in fact, he did a segment or a seminar that was about kind of rebutting criticism of Israel and negative media portrayals of Israel. So telling people this is how you push back against this stuff. It started originally. Apparently, it was a seminar he did in 2016 to do with some of the war, the fighting going on then. And then now he's updated it. So, he's a guy clearly whose job is to sort of push the line of the Israeli government. He's literally written before that there should be more illegal Israeli settlements in Palestinian land. He thinks that will create more peace and stability, which I think anyone with any common sense would probably disagree with. He is also bizarrely has a connection to the Matt Gaetz controversy, which I'm sure everyone knows about.
Can you talk about that and what his connection is?
Yeah, absolutely. He was obviously Matt Gaetz accused of sleeping with an underage girl. Then there was a whole extortion plot against his father to use this information to get money out of him. I guess unconfirmed, but at some point in when this was all big news, Jake Novak, this guy that was hired by Nexstar, who worked at the Israeli consulate, he got in touch with the creator of Dilbert.
And for people who don't know, can you explain what Dilbert is?
It's not a cartoon that I really pay that much attention to. It's a syndicated cartoon. It's been going on for, decades. It's about office workers. I mean, you know, I'm the wrong person to ask about.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on Dilbert.
It's just a cartoon. Yeah.
It's a cartoon. Well, and then the guy who made it, whose name I'm now blanking on, but he, I don't know if you know it, but he kind of got a new wind of fame, I guess, or infamy.
Scott Adams.
Scott Adams, there we go. When Trump ran for president, because he very early on, I think Scott Adams is kind of like one of these like a PUA style, pickup artist style people, you know, who believes in like people being able to kind of hypnotize other people and, you know, use charisma and certain little mind tricks to get people to do what they want. So he famously predicted that Trump would win because he said, you know, Trump uses all these techniques for hypnosis to you know, mesmerize people. Anyway, for whatever reason, this guy, Jake Novak, got in touch with Scott Adams and said, oh, you know, this whole thing is really bad for me because, you know, we were this close to getting this money and I have this commando team waiting on standby that's getting ready to go and rescue this American hostage in Iran. And now, you know, I can't send them the money. So that's, you know, a very, very interesting character, to say the least. But I think all of that, you know, like I said, I don't know if that has a direct line into what happened to you. You know, News Nation is separate from The Hill, obviously, but it may suggest a kind of overall lean in that network's coverage of things, and may indicate, you know, some political sympathies that are bleeding into the editorial line of the actual thing, the media outlets that it controls. And that would not be good because, as I said, this is the largest owner of local broadcast news in the country. So if this is something that goes beyond just The Hill and is actually applying to everything that Nick Star owns, then that's very bad.